So these directed energy weapons, or DEW, are being seen as an absolute game changer in emerging warfare. If drones were disruptive technology, laser weapons or these beam weapons like Star Wars weapons are adding another layer to that disruption altogether. And the DEW weapons, they're taking India into a different league of nations that possess this technology. This is made in India technology that DRDO is very proudly displaying a technology demonstrator of. So this successful test of firing a 30 kilowatt laser energy and neutralizing a drone in seconds has given scientists new energy to scale up and fast. What does this mean for armed forces? And remember, India has adversaries on multiple fronts. So whether it's your army, your navy, or your air force, and your forces are tackling threats on multiple fronts. What does this mean for our forces on ground? On this Battle Cry special, joining me on the show is Lieutenant General Rakesh Sharma, former co-commander of the Ladakh Corps. And remember, Ladakh is one area where India is not only extensively deployed, but extensively deployed in very diverse battlefields to neutralize the threat that emerges from China on our northern borders, and of course Pakistan at the Siachen Glacier and in Jammu and Kashmir separately along with Ladakh. Group Captain Augustine Vinod is a former fighter pilot, also a drone expert, and privileged to have two drone experts on this broadcast. Captain D.K. Sharma, former spokesperson of the Indian Navy, also a drone expert. And General Sharma, let me ask you first. So Dr. Samir Kamath, DRDO chief, he sounds extremely enthusiastic about this technology and the demonstration that took place. As far as it comes to our army on the borders and the emerging threats, what does this mean for our army, sir?
Thank you for inviting me, Gaurav. Fact is that if you follow what's the warfare on in Ukraine, the technology of drones is changing every 6 weeks to 2 months. And there are scientists which are now located on the borders to keep evolving their own drone and counter-drone technologies. And as time is passing, this became an imperative to start working on the directed energy weapons even for us. Because what happens is that the drones are becoming increasingly autonomous, or they are being now having drones with a spool of wire, the fiber optic cable. So, any other form of jamming which could be done, or spoofing could be done by electronic warfare, will not be effective against autonomous drones or against the spool of wire, fiber optic cable. So the only way to target this new modern drones which are coming up is directed energy weapons. We already had one applied, which was a 2 kilowatt weapon, small short range, 800 meters to 1 kilometer. But now the one that has been tested, as you're rightly pointing out, is a 30 kV weapon, which has got a range of about 5 odd kilometers of drone. And of course, it makes a game changer. But we have to keep evolving it, because the counter drone technologies are being, or drone technologies are being constantly involved in a manner that you have to keep making counter drone technologies also match up with the kind of threat that we have.
Oh, absolutely. Group Captain Vinod, your appreciation, scaling up from to 30 kilowatts, point one, and point two, explain for the benefit of our viewers. So this is an aim and fire weapon. You acquire it on your EOS system or the electro-optical system. Acquire it. How long must that beam stay on the drone? And what about faster moving systems and projectiles? How does it operate on them, sir?
Thank you for having me over. See, 3.5 years ago with Rahul Kamal on your very show, I talked about this particular aspect. I mean, someone who has a phone can Google as Drone Nightmare and put my name. You will be able to see that particular video where I talked about this technology. Now, let's talk about this technology per se, Gaurav. India is not alien to this technology. We have been working on this, as far as I know, for more than a decade or decade and a half. And I'm very sure most of us sitting here and most of the people have heard two technologies that DRDO has been working on very silently, called Durga and Kali. Directionally unrestricted ray gun array, which was a laser weapon system. They were initially embarked on destroying missiles and other aerial threat. And Kali was called kiloampere linear injector, if I'm not wrong, which was an electron beam. Now, there are two important aspects, Gaurav, that we need to understand. A, taking out a drone, especially a swarm drone, where say 20, 50 of them are coming in with a simple kinetic weapon, it will be nearly impossible because you need short burst and you need quick shift. That means if you have 50 targets are coming in, you need a shorter burst, as you can see on the video, and
Yes.
shifting quickly between one and the other drone. So a kinetic weapon, other than probably a guided, maybe a bullet, which is again a difficult proposition to achieve at that kind of speed that we are talking about. This is
Okay.
the only solution that I was talking about 3.5 years ago with Rahul. Kamal.
So before
Second,
I come to no, I would just want to quickly understand, since you're an aviator and you've flown the Mirages, you operate drones. How soon can this be miniaturized? Because right now, when you see it's loaded on a big truck, how soon can it be miniaturized to be put on airborne platforms? Because that would actually change the nature of warfare and reduce costs, compared to all those expensive precision-guided munition, air to ground, air to sea. Would that be the real game changer, sir?
actually, Durga started as an airborne platform to be put on a large aeroplane. But see, as far as costing is concerned, yes, airborne platform is a good answer. But as far as costing is concerned, I think the least expensive, Gaurav, will be to put it on a vehicle like we are seeing on the screen as well as behind me. There's another very important thing I want to 30 seconds cover is this particular weapon, Gaurav, can be the only probably solution against an incoming hypersonic missile. Today, we don't have
Yes.
an anti-hypersonic missile which can travel faster than 5 Mach. Hypersonic is anything above 5 Mach. We don't
Yes.
have a anti-missile missile which can travel faster than 5 Mach to take out an incoming hypersonic weapon. And this probably is something that we need to work on to, quickly fill that gap of hypersonic weapon being, today like a Brahmastra where you have no answer to. And of course,
Yes.
swarm drones and other drones that we are going to come in. See, we even toyed on the idea of a close-in weapon system like you have it on a ship, where you
Yes.
have these phalanx guns firing at a very high rate of fire, taking out incoming drone. But that is possible only probably to a cruise missile, CJ-10 kind of missiles that is coming towards us. What
The
about swarm
charades,
drone?
which
So
again is a major agenda as far as DRDO is concerned. Absolutely, sir. Let me also bring in Captain Sharma into this conversation, because given the successful test of the DEW weapons, sir, once scaled up, just as Group Captain Vinod was mentioning, can they evolve to deal with this threat of the hypersonic missile and advanced swarm drones? Because there's nothing to take on a hypersonic missile and incoming in current times, sir.
Hi, Gaurav. Good evening, and good evening to all your viewers on Battle Cry. They have already covered it, but I will tell you the naval aspect of it. First of
Yes.
all, we are the fifth nation who have now got this technology, and I must inform our audience that one gun has already been installed by the US Navy on these ships, and that is having a power of 30 kilowatt. They are upscaling it to around 120 kilowatts. Now, if you see a scenario, first of all, on in open seas, there will be a platform, whether it is the LRMR, that is a surveillance aircraft, or there is a ship which has launched a missile, or there is a platform which is launching these swarm drones or standalone drones. So
Okay.
now, if we have a platform which can detect, and we have solid capacity to do it, and we have our assets in place, so if we detect it, it is only a moment of seconds. I'm saying it's a matter of seconds that it will be acquired, and the directed energy will be, attacking it, targeting it, and it will take not more than 30 seconds, provided we have that kind of energy. So the test
Yes.
has been done of 30 kilowatts, but in the times to come, and our R&D is there, and I'm privy to a lot of things which are happening, that this will be upgraded, and our stabilization factor, miniaturizing the gun, the laser gun. Now, all this is a matter of time that they will be installed. And as Vinod said, Augustine said, that we have that phalanx gun 630s A lot of countermeasures are there. But there comes the problem of ammunition, and
Energy.
which costs a hell of a
Yes.
lot. But
Yes.
if we have this DEW, if DEW is available on the ships, let me tell you this threat of drones, for example, what we are facing from the Houthis, this will be neutralized the moment it is detected. And it will be detected because our sensors today are so advanced that nothing can go unnoticed. The
Okay.
problem always was how to address the problem.
Neutralize it.
Now,
Yes.
now, once this directed energy weapon comes, it will be, and Gaurav, it is at the speed of light. It is only a matter of detection. Once detected, acquired, it's gone. By the time we are
But
talking,
that
it's
kind
gone.
of energy that's required, and for that
It will
sustained
come.
burst,
It will
would
come.
you require
Yeah.
something like a small nuclear reactor on board a large aircraft carrier or is that possible even otherwise? Group Captain Vinod, General Sharma, would either of you want to take it one by one? Group Captain Vinod, on board an aircraft carrier, what would you require for that kind of energy?
So you will need some captive power supply that can give that kind of wattage. See, laser is nothing but concentrated light. And
Yes.
the amount of light that you can concentrate in a particular direction and keep it aimed. Gaurav, keeping it aimed, like you saw it on the video also, keeping it aimed is again a very big technology by itself. So you have to have very high precision gyros maintaining and the tracking device maintaining the laser on the target, which uh,
Yes.
as I can see it on the video, we are yet to refine it even better than what I'm seeing it on the screen. So
Okay.
that and the energy that you can generate, which can be captive, which can even be a battery for for all you know. So this kind of
Okay.
energy
It has to be
can hold it. And
locked and loaded. Yeah, go on. So
also
complete your point.
yeah, and also, Gaurav, we can even you look at capacitors to large electrolytic capacitors to hold such energy to immediately give it out in a burst. So it is more like the wattage that it can handle and technology to keep it aimed. Over to you.
Okay. General Sharma, once India masters this art, would the focus then automatically shift to destroying the target at longer ranges, use more lethal power? And when India possesses this kind of power, even the adversary would think twice before launching against us. Anyway, I'm told all of you don't even consider Pakistan as part of the threat matrix anymore. Is that then restricted to the threat that we face on our northern borders vis-a-vis China?
So, firstly, let's not push away Pakistan out of our thinking process because they're using the drones as the Chinese are giving it to them. And one of the drones destroyed by one of these laser weapons was a Chinese drone on the Pakistani border. So, let's not forget it happened in 16 core zone, which you are aware, where
Yes.
one of these drones went. But I agree with the thought process that this technology is just a demonstrator. We have miles to go. This is not a suitable things for, say, a swarm of drones. It is may not be suitable for loitering ammunition. And then see, it is a cat and mouse game where the drones will now start finding methods to avoid or deflect the laser energy coming to them, or probably make stealth drones or things like that, which cannot be so easily detected. As it is, there are no communication signals in autonomous drones. There is no electronic warfare. There is no communication on the satellite coming. It's totally autonomous. So, to detect itself will become a great task in future. So to say that we have reached the end of the thing, no, it's just the beginning. We're just
Yes.
commencing on this game. There is miles to go because the opposing technology will now mature into different levels altogether.
Oh, absolutely. No, in fact, we mentioned this at Technology Demonstrator, and we need to scale up in a big way. But respond, Captain Sharma, that detecting the threat on your radars or your sensors is may just emerge to be a huge challenge, and the response time will also be very restricted. And you agree that it's not perhaps the best weapon to take on a swarm drone?
Swarm drone is a different ball game, but the point is here in the Navy or in the open seas, for a swarm drone to be launched, there has to be a platform. So how can that be, going undetected? You see, there are sequential things. if a ship is there, if it has to launch 50 drones, we will know it. And if a drone is coming from, say, 100 kilometers or 100 miles, then there is enough time to detect them. So, and it is only a matter of seconds. They will be addressed by various means, whether it is the close-in weapon systems, whether it is the phalanx guns, whether it is electronic jamming, ECM, ECCMs, and DEW. So it will not be let go just like that. This is one thing, but once this comes in, this is such a game changer that I will not need ammunition by the thousands of creating a barrage or a wall. Then this will address. I will have 7, 8 guns. They will take on, and it requires 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds for knocking down the drones, because the amount of energy which is going to be directed, this is going to damage the drone, and then it becomes unserviceable.
Unserviceable as far as the adversary is concerned. That's exactly what they tried to do. They jammed the signals initially, made sure that the radar wasn't working, and then as you watch that other drone, it caught fire. Group Captain Vinod, Dr. Kamath also spoke of other Star War-like capabilities, developing other high-energy systems, including the electromagnetic pulse or the high-energy microwaves that are being sent. Would that make the adversary, one, as General Sharma pointed out, revise their tactics? It's a cat and mouse game, but are we keeping abreast now with what the adversary has, or we have a long time to catch up with them?
Good question, Gaurav. In fact, like I said, 1.5 decades ago, our thought process was bang on target. Kali, the weapon I talked about, kiloampere linear injector, is nothing but an electronic beam designed to fry the entire electronic board of anything. So, today also we demonstrated, first the antenna was targeted, and then the drone was targeted. So, like Captain Sharma said, it is going to be a part of a larger system in which you will have detect, identify, and destroy capability, in which this particular thing is going to plug in to the destroy capability of detect and identify. So detect, identify, destroy, or divert becomes the complete gamut of a defense system, including an air defense system. But also, Gaurav, look at its application in civilian shipping also. Especially against pirates. And pirates are now increasingly using drones against civilian shipping. Now you can have this fitted in the civilian ships along the sea lanes of communication, and they can be probably well protected, not only against aerial target, but also against the pirates. So that's something
very interesting. Absolutely. General Sharma, how soon, in your appreciation, before they're deployed at borders, if we were to talk about the LC or the IB to take on, because Pakistan is sending in a lot of drugs and weapons through the drones, very cost effective since they're very inexpensive, and the DRDO is saying just at the cost of a couple of liters of fuel, you can take down a small drone. Can it be used to, let's say, take down an enemy bunker or a dhok where terrorists could be hiding, using these weapons much cheaper than using ATGMs against certain targets?
So now you are approaching a different subject altogether. And that subject is how to absorb the technology. What is happening is, you remember, this was a year of the technology absorption, because you require specific manpower to handle a system which is additional to what systems the air defense already has. And when you say a range is 5 kilometers, then 5 kilometers is on the line of actual control, as you're aware, is right at the front. So you can't have an air defense system. Air defense is deployed in a different manner altogether. Now you have to decentralize all these systems down to the vanguard, because you just cannot say, even if you say that you have a 300 kV laser times to come 10 kilometer range or something, it still has to go to the vanguard. And who is the man who should do this? That man is actually manning something else. So there has to be technology absorption.
That's a very pertinent point you raised, sir. I've unfortunately run out of time on this part of the show, but in the days and weeks ahead, this Star Wars technology, and it's very exciting. It's inexpensive compared to all those expensive missiles and rockets that you may need to buy. But technology absorption will remain a challenge. But then in this changing world with much smarter soldiers out there in the field, this truly promises to be a game changer. A story we'll be tracking closely. That is all I have for you on this Battle Cry special. To all my guests, many thanks for joining me.